Law and order out of control. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. The NBC program Law and Order is run by a far-left guy named Dick Wolf, who often uses the program to promote his progressive point of view.
Unlike Fox News' The Factor with Bill O'Reilly, where he uses his show to promote his conservative ideology. Totally different, right?
A recent Law and Order SVU featured a guy killing children, kids of illegal immigrants, and Wolf approved this piece of dialogue.
I don't get why you're defending this wacko.
Faggot's a symptom, not the disease.
That symptom killed 3 kids.
Garrison, Limbaugh, Beck, O'Reilly, all of them, they're like a cancer spread in ignorance and hate. I mean, they've convinced folks that immigrants are the problem, not corporations that fail to pay a living wage or a broken health care system.
Save the soapbox, Randy. The cameras aren't even running.
That is simply defamatory and outrageous, and Dick Wolf is a coward for putting it out there. He's also a liar.
How are you going to go from calling him a liar and saying what he said was defamatory? It's a show. You know, it's just a show. So when you're mentioned on it, I mean, you're a public fucking figure, right? So when you're mentioned on a show that has to do with violence that happens because of the news, you get all fucking upset about it. It's so funny, and you call him a coward and a liar, and I think that makes you, a liar and makes you a coward, and you were defaming him. How about that? I mean, you're being the biggest hypocrite ever, and it will continue.
I have consistently defended poor people who only want a better life. I've always said if I were a poor Mexican, I would try to cross the border and earn money here and send it back to my family. I don't blame the illegal aliens. I blame the federal governments of both Mexico and the United States of America. I've said many times, and perhaps you've heard me say, that if I were a poor person in Central America or Mexico, I would come here illegally to feed my family as well. Most illegal aliens are good people. They are poor. They are Catholic. They have come to America to try for better lives. All compassionate people should sympathize with the downtrodden all over the world. It's hard to say that Jesus wouldn't want everybody to get health care. Right. On a humanitarian basis, you don't argue it.
Oh, come on, Bill. Don't forget to include this clip.
Change, pardon the pun, the whole complexion of America. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. The second thing that on the left they're against is the temporary worker, as you know. We say 2 years, go back for a year, 2 years, go back for a year. They don't want that. They don't want them to have to go back.
But the strategy is
people can come and work.
Do you understand, and I'm not saying this in a condescending way, you're smarter than I am,
sure.
But do you understand what the New York Times wants and the far left want? They want to break down the white Christian male power structure, of which you're a part, and so am I. And they want to bring in millions of foreign nationals to basically break down the structure that we have. In that regard, Pat Buchanan is right. So I say that you've got to cap it with a number. Now, if you watch The Factor, you know my beef is with the federal government not controlling illegal immigration and with violent aliens who wreak havoc once they get here. Again, Dick Wolf, the executive producer of Law and Order, is a despicable human being, despicable for distorting and exploiting this very complicated issue.
And what does that make you, Bill? It makes you some kind of hero? You're some kind of stand-up great guy, while anyone else that voices their opinion or uses crazy-ass, tactics similar to the ones that Fox News and yourself use, that makes them bad people, but you're not a bad person? I don't understand your reasoning. Have you ever fucking looked in a mirror, you douchebag?
I mean, it's enough with these network pinheads who shove propaganda down our throats under the guise of entertainment.
These propaganda network pinheads, you mean like Fox News, who had to admit that even Fox News Channel only covers the news like 13 hours a day or some shit? That your show is not technically news, and Beck's show is not news, and Hannity's show is not news, and Greta Van Susteren show is not news, and fucking Neil Cavuto's show, not news. Like, none of these shows are considered news. And then you got Fox and Friends, not news. I mean, look at you, and you're talking about, like, entertainment that passes off as news? Fuck you, you hypocritical sack of dog shit.
Patriotic Americans can debate illegal immigration respectfully. No one on The Factor has been allowed to demonize any innocent human being.
Well, that's where I have to disagree with you, Bill, because I have evidence of you doing just what you said you have never done, and is to someone who is totally innocent, was never found guilty of any kind of crime, and here's my fucking proof.
In the state of Kansas, there is a Dr. George Tiller who will execute babies for $5,000. Dr. George Tiller, known as Tiller the Baby Killer. Tiller the Baby Killer, as some call him. Dr. George Tiller in Kansas, known as Tiller the Baby Killer. Dr. George Tiller, known as Tiller the Baby Killer. Tiller the Baby Killer. The notorious Tiller the Baby Killer. I wanted George Tiller and Tiller the Baby Killer going, hey, I can make more money killing babies now. Tiller is executing fetuses in his Wichita clinic for $5,000. Tiller performs scores, perhaps thousands, as we reported. Tiller aborts thousands of babies pretty much for any reason. This man will terminate fetuses at any time for $5,000. You hire Tiller, you got to pay him $5,000 up front, and he'll kill the baby. Dr. George Tiller destroys fetuses for just about any reason right up until the birth date. This man is executing babies about to be born, killing babies who are about to be born. George Tiller, okay, can kill a baby a half hour before the baby's supposed to be birthed for no reason whatsoever other than the mother has a pain in her foot. Dr. Tiller has blood on his hands, but now so does Governor Sebelius. She doesn't seem to be real upset about this guy. A death mill doesn't get worse than that. This is the absolute shame. That a man like that could openly operate in the USA is troubling, to say the least. I wouldn't want to be these people if there is a judgment day. Mr. O'Reilly, how can you be sure that reciting Tiller the Baby Killer over and over again did not inflame the assassin? The doctor was involved in a criminal case. I reported what groups were calling him. I reported accurately. Now, we have bad news to report that Tiller the Baby Killer out in Kansas acquitted today of murdering babies. I wasn't in a courtroom. I didn't sit on the jury. But there's got to be a special place in hell for this guy. Patriotic Americans can debate illegal immigration respectfully.
But you can't talk about abortion respectfully. You have to be some kind of douchebag that incites violence against people that do their job. And then you're going to cry foul when they come after, when they put your name among those of people that incite others to do bullshit.
No one on the Factor has been allowed to demonize any innocent human being.
And, he's in full facepalm mode. He's like...
And it's partially because of this program that the border fence was finally put up. So there could be some kind of responsible regulation about who comes into America.
Apparently, Bill hasn't been paying attention to how the border fence has been going, with hundreds, if not thousands, of miles in gaps, and the ease of which people go over, under, and through it. It has been just a giant waste of tax dollars. A giant waste. Has he complained about that at all? Has he complained about how shoddily they have executed his idea of a plan? No, he's just going to take some credit for it. He's like, we're part of the reason that we wasted all that tax money. And we'd love to take some fucking credit for it because we're going to try and convince you that it's made any kind of fucking difference. Fucking retarded.
Now, I can't tell you how angry I am about this Law and Order thing. It's no accident. It happened on NBC, which is Propaganda Central in the USA.
If NBC is Propaganda Central because they mentioned O'Reilly's name in one episode of Law and Order, then what the fuck does that make Fox News exactly? I guess that would make Fox News like the plague of the fucking world. Maybe even the universe, since he's blowing it so far out of fucking proportion. Talk about the propaganda fucking arm of the United States. If anything, it's the conservatives, and especially if, of all the fucking news sources, it's Fox News that stands out like a sore fucking thumb.
Is also the lowest rated network. But again, enough is enough. I'm calling out Dick Wolf.
Does everyone see how fragile Bill O'Reilly is? His name got thrown in and mentioned with other people on like a television show of what he says is the lowest rated thing, and nobody, apparently, according to him, nobody pays attention to this. But he often talks about how high his ratings are, how they're #1 in their slot, and this, that, the other. So he feels like that they are so unimportant that he's going to mention them and bring them out to his audience, which he believes, and which probably is much, much larger. How retarded are you, Bill? I don't understand how you can be so stupid. And then not only that, you have people that obviously are more retarded than you in the first place to watch your fucking show.
Well, Bill, first we need to point out that last night Dick Wolf's tour de force was beaten by Modern Family, Glee, and Cougar Town, okay? Law & Order, which has been on for 20 seasons in different incarnations, 20 seasons, has addicted itself to this plot line that is such a caricature of I don't even know what. It's not conservatism, that's for sure, but it's a left-winger's view of what conservatives think.
No, Fox News is a window into how we think conservatives think, and you guys gladly accept that title. Fuck off. Cocktopus out.